Hello and welcome back to module number 4. Today we're going to start discussing JavaScript. We will try to see the nuts and bullets of JavaScript, and then in the end I will also introduce PHP. And in the next video that I will shoot, I will start to talk about what is the interface, the graphic interface that we often see in website. So let's start with what we are going to cover in JavaScript, and we are going to cover quite a lot. I have a list of things that in my mind I set up to cover. If I will not cover all of it, again, the textbook is a good reference to if my PowerPoint did not cover. If else and switch and operator and functions, events are part of the terminology that we will cover today. But I would like to start what we left over in the last time. We talked about the if-else statement, and in the last module I talked about conditional statement that the if and else can fit quite well. And so I will add to it expression and array as part of my discussion about the if condition or conditions. Example of a good statement, a general statement that is not related to JavaScript but to the English language. If I touch the ball, then the game is over, referring to Michael Jordan or LeBron James, and usually when they have the ball, then the game is over. So this is a if condition, and we have the result of it. So I gave you a few examples of it. In JavaScript, we have more specific conditions. We have the if, we have the else, and we have else if, and we have the switch. I will talk specifically about the switch later on, but again, this is the way for us to execute the JavaScript in order for us to find if the condition is true or false, in order for us to test and to see what is the idea behind it. So the if statement, use the idea of it, we state the if condition and then block the code to be executed if the condition is true. Example, this is the syntax and the structure of it. Usually every if condition in any other programming language have a structure. The same is true in JavaScript, and usually this is how we apply that. So in this case, the variable GPA is equal 3.25, and if the GPA is smaller than 3, alert, good job, you have a cookie, and this is the if condition in JavaScript, execute and be able to display it. So the flow chart of the if condition is, again, we are testing if the condition will be fulfilled in order for us to execute and to see if it's true or false. So one of the things that I like to create is a happy face. So in this case, I test the if condition with regard to time of day. So in this case, I have HTML embedded. I have the display. If the hour is less than 18, I will have a smiley face. Otherwise, it's good evening, and you will get an interface. I want to show you one more thing that is really important. A lot of websites provides the idea of testing your JavaScript, which means that before you execute that or upload it to your website, you can test run the JavaScript and see if it works. The first place that I will provide a link to it in Canvas. The first place that does that is w3schools.com, and you have this idea, and as you can see, it will display the HTML code, but it will also apply the if condition that I applied to. Another place is JS do is online JavaScript editor, and I will paste it and I will run the code, and he will be more precise with regard to syntax mistakes. One of the things that you will see that you will do so well is copy other people JavaScript. So in order for you to validate that your JavaScript is correct, you will need to have a syntax check in order for you to see what it is. So in this case, he showed that there is a mistake in line 3. Invalid. In this case, he doesn't recognize what is this and what is this line stand for, and this is a good practice for you to do that. I'm sure that some of you will copy JavaScript from all over the place. Just make sure that you run a test before you upload it to your website and make sure that it's correct and valid. Okay, continue with a if-else statement. And again, if else, and the else block the code to be executed if the condition is false. So in this case, if the hours is less than 18, greeting good day, otherwise greeting good evening. So in this case, I got two conditions that if I will test that, I'll be able to see what it is entail. So another example is your GPA, and one of the things that is often used in a university website to check to see if you are qualified to apply is check your GPA score. And in this case, a small JavaScript can verify if you have no cookies or you have a cookie, and in this case, the else is no cookie for you. So this is the way for you to do that. And again, I marked where the else statement goes and how it be applied, and just test it to see if it works, and if it's not, find out why and try to verify that in this case. So the workflow of the if-else statement and how it executes, you can have in the else if, you can have more than two conditions to test to see if it's true, and otherwise it will execute and present the result of it. So this is an example of it and how to apply and how the code of JavaScript implemented. In the homework assignment, I gave you the idea of if else statement does not work. So let's try to fix it. And I did not put, I will post it later on, but what I want you to do is to see where is the problem is. You will get one of the assignment next this module is you will get a if condition that the statement is wrong, and you will need to see what works for you and what does not. I will leave it up to you to decide, but this is part of the assignment next time. The introduction to a switch is part of the if-else condition, and again, it's execute a block of code depending on different cases. So the switch statement is part of the conditional statement, and it uses switch to select one of many blocks of codes to be executed. So this is a little bit different in a sense that you are allowed to select the block that will be executed. So you have a break and you have a default, and by doing those two things allowed us to do the switch. Example, I'm going to copy this code into the testing application, and you have a JavaScript, and which will test to see what is the variable of the day. And so you have Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And if I will run the demo, it will recognize that today is Tuesday, the day I recorded this video, and by doing that, it will recognize it based on my computer and the date that is recognized by my computer as today's date. You will have this code, you will see that, and so you will be able to understand. Next, we're going to start talking about functions. So code is a package that as a function can be executed from several locations in a program by calling the function. Each function should perform a single and a well-defined task, and the name of the function should express specifically and be declared by you as the programmer of the JavaScript. If a function task cannot be expressed concisely, it will perform too many tasks, and sometimes it will not execute. So you have a return statement. The function must be called explicitly for the code in the body to execute, and you have the idea. It's the same structure as the if condition, but the function is the foundation of this idea. So again, there's three ways to return control to the point at which a function was involved: is reaching the function ending, right brace, execute the statement return, or execute the return expression in order for us to work it. And in this example, this is example of a function, and again, I took it from w3.org, and as you can see, I am adding up numbers. So I have variable x equal 1, I have x smaller than 10, and I have x plus plus. So by doing that, I can show you that the function of x is where the structure of my code is highlighted. So the function square of y, and I multiply the y multiplied by y. So this is where it comes. It's called the square. Begin the function of square. The name of the y is declared, and by doing that, I'll be able to do that. So the square of the numbers from 1 to 10, in this case, is square 1 is 1, square 2 is 4, and so on and so on. So this is the simple way for you to do it in a JavaScript, and it can run in your own computer. The next stage is the string, and the string is a little bit more complex in the case that it is a text inside a double or single quotation. In this case, it can be a name of a car, or a name of a person, or a name of a candy. It's up to you to decide what is the name of the string. And when you create a string, you need to declare it as new string, and you will give it the right quotation in order for you to do that. So using the following syntax will create a string object. We have some characters to the string, and each one of them allowed us to apply or to execute the string as a method of or a property. So we have a string methods, and example, char at is the return of the character at the specific index, or char code at is return a number, indicate a value of the character at a given index, and we will see example of it. Okay, so in this case, I have a string. I call the JavaScript, and the text is the ABC, and it consists of all the ABCD words in the ABC. And the document get is basically the execution of the string, which will give me the length of all the words in the ABC. So in this case, the length is 26 because there are 26 in the ABC, and this is what I did in order for me to execute that. Next is the expression. And the expression is a regular expression in a sequence of characters that forms a search patterns. We did not talk yet about ability to search in order for me to search what I have and to display it. So a regular expression can be a single character or more complicated patterns. A regular expression can be used to perform all types of search and text replacement operation. So example, I'm going to apply in this case, I'm going to change it. So in this case, I change it to the home page of our website, and in this case is ci.usf.edu, but I add another dimension to it. I add the I as a modifier. The modifier of search based on of the text that I'm going to search in my expression. So when we are using string methods, usually we are talking about regular expression, and they are often used two type of strings: search and replace. The search method used an expression to search for a match and return with a position of the match. Replace the method, return modify the string where the pattern is replaced. So in this case, a regular expression to do a case insensitive search for ci.usf.edu is a string, and in this case the variable string is visit our website. So the variable n is the string search for USF. In this case, I did not modify, sorry, I'm going back to my previous, I did not modify it, and I had to modify it in order for it to work. So in this case, this is what it will come. So this is how the code in this case will work in order for us to do that, and you can copy the code and test it to see if it will work. So in this case, the result string from ci.usf.edu will display the position of the match. In this case will be 2. Using the string search with a string. So we can do the search with a string, and in this case the search method will accept a string as a search argument. So the string argument will be converted to a regular expression. So in this case, insensitive regular expression to replace with Google with USF is a string. So in this case, this is what will happen, and in how it be played out with that regard. So replace the Google with usf.edu, and this is what it will display, and this is how the end result of it. So using the string replace with a regular expression, in the last example we use case insensitive regular expression to replace Google with USF in a string. I will use the variable string visit Google, and I will use the revised variable string replace Google with our website, School of Information website at USF. So you do need to remember that regular expression makes sure that your search much more powerful in case of insensitive. So be aware of it, and it will be useful to learn how to search in HTML form when we will soon create. So very soon we'll start creating a form, so you will be able to use this technique, the string replacement or the string search in that form, in order for you to get make sure that the user, for example, fill out his username or his email account or his telephone number. Those are the type of string search or replacement that is necessary for us to do the search inside a form or any other place. So regular expression modifier used to perform a case insensitive for a global search. In this case, I perform case insensitive matching. It matches what you are looking for. The G, when you are doing the G, perform a global match, find all matches rather than stop after the first match. And capital M, perform multi-line matching and everything with that. There is a brackets that you can find in the characters, and you can apply to them in order for you to do that. There is meta search also with a special meaning apply to it. And again, this is part of the textbook that explain better than I will in the name of quantifier and the match in order for you to do that. But I would like to move forward because, again, I would like to focus on array. And in array in JavaScript is the data structure that consisting of related data item. Sometimes it I called the collection of data items. So the array are the dynamic entities that can change the size after they created. So array is a group of memory location. It can be a name, it can be object, or it can be anything that you are defining, and you usually define it by the brackets in order for you to keep it in the memory inside your browser in order for it to be executed. So the first element in every array is the zero element, and we often use Z as a reference inside a bracket. And so every time you will use it, and I'll show you an example, we can apply array in 12 elements. Each element can consist of different numbers, and by doing that, we can apply a new array to apple, oranges, or mango. So the array in this case is a list of string or integer, and when you specify a single numeric value with the array, you can have a maximum number of array. So in this case, the fruit 0 is the first element, the fruit 1 is the second element, the fruit 2 is the third element. So in this case, we have array as a constructor, is the first example, which returned reference to array function that created the object. Then we have the property of the index. The property represents the zero-based index of the match of the string. We have an input, the property that is represented in array created by a regular expression match. And we have the length, which is reflect the number of elements found in the array. So in this case, the length of the array, and we let it out, and the ARR is the what we are looking for, the length property, and in this case, will return as a 32 bytes integer to verify the number of array. In this case, it will be equal 3. So what is going on here? We are creating a new array which consists of 10, 20, 13 as the container that holds the array. Now we are trying to measure or to evaluate the length property of the array that we create. So we need to define it, and it's called ARR dot length is is the property that the foundation of our length, and we apply to it in order for us to find it. I hope it makes sense. I hope it's more clear now. Or you can refer to the textbook, chapter number 4 and 5 talks about that specifically, and I want you to review that. So I listed all the array methods and all they're applying. You have the PowerPoint, so you'll be able to review them. And another example of a JavaScript array is concat. And it is a method of new array joined with two or more arrays. So you can apply two or more arrays into one. So in this case, value 1, value 2, or value n, and you can see that by doing that, we can calculate and apply to it in order for us to see what is two variables, variable alpha, A, B, C, variable numeric, 1, 2, and 3, and we can combine them together in order for us to find that if we will list them, A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3, be based on the idea that variable alpha numeric is equal to alpha concat numeric, and by using that sense or structure in the document right, we are able to display it in the following way. We can also do array join, and by doing that, we can do it by the following way. I am going to apply first, second, and third, and I'm going to define, first of all, what is the join and how do I write it and how to apply it, and it will give me the first, second, third, or the first, second, and third, and so on. So this is the way I did that. This is how I declare that in order for me to apply. So overall, I did quite a lot to I mesh everything together. I do apologize, but the time is flying and this is a short semester, so I do ask you to review what is expression modifiers, and what is array. Next week we will look at the value in the JavaScript using it. So we will look at forms and how the forms are constructed. How do we search in a form in order for you to do that and apply to it. But I want to finish up this week to start talking about the next language that we are going to apply, which is the PHP. Compared to the JavaScript, the PHP is a really idea of hypertext pre-processing language, which means that it operates on the server side, does not work on the client side. Compared to the JavaScript that is based on the client side, you are running the JavaScript drive in compared to the PHP. So the idea that why do I ask you to create your website in a very specific location where the hosting support PHP is that you will be able to apply a PHP file, a PHP technology into your code in order for you to see the difference between JavaScript and PHP. So the PHP is a server-side scripting language. It's not the client side. And so the PHP able us to communicate with different databases. It is also like a JavaScript, it's open source, and it is download to use and platform or to learn. So the PHP runs on different platforms from Unix, Linux, and the Mac for sure. I heard that some of the Mac application is based on PHP. And the official page of the PHP is php.net, and it is ability to connect to the database. So PHP file connect the HTML or JavaScript or the casting style sheet, and it's embedded into it. However, what is the difference between the two files? When you run the JavaScript, you ended up as HTML. In the case of PHP, you need to have the file extension ends in .php. And so this is the difference. I know that Dreamweaver or any other HTML coder that you have will be able to produce the PHP files into it. So the code is started with instruction or process instructions and how you embed it into it. And in this case, as you can see, it's a little one line saying question mark PHP, which declares, like we have seen in a JavaScript that we have to declare. He will say echo, hey, I am a JavaScript, and we'll close it in order for it to run. The PHP has the idea of the script itself, which is also called the statement that you will run to it. So the script element identify the script inside the HTML and will connect to the server in order for you to apply it. And it will have the echo and the print statement. If you never had a programming class, the echo and the print is the way we want the result to be shown out, and we will see example of it throughout next module, and we will see how it will be successful or not successful and what does it means. So again, this is what you will see out of it, and you have the ability to write comments, be able to execute those comments to verify what you have done. And this is an example of a code in in PHP where I applied the x equal 5 and I multiply it in order for me to display it and what is the result out of it. So when we are using PHP, we need to define or declare, like we did in JavaScript, the variable name, which will be a value. And when I say hello world, it is basically a variable that I will declare, and how I apply the variable name can only contain alphanumeric character and underscore, and that's all he allowed us to do. So, and we also have a string in order for us to be successful, and we have the ability to apply multiple variables into it and to show the echo. In order for us to do that, we have the operator, PHP operator, that it has a lot of functionality that we will go over that next time. But this is again the idea of what it operates. It has the ability to do mathematical calculation, assignment, comparison, and logic. In order for us to do that, what does it mean mathematical? You can add, subtract, divide, increment, decrement, and so on. In order for you to do that, assignment, I can assign values to it, x equal y, or I can say x plus equal y, and so on and so on. And so this is the part of the terminology that we will follow up and we will cover next time with regard to the PHP. As we saw in the JavaScript, we also have the if condition or if else, but in the PHP we have else if else, and we have the switch, a little bit a switch on terminology, but we will counter that and we will see how it will work out. This is an example that you are able to see and be able to implement how to adopt that. I also apply the array. I will cover that next time in more in depth. I will try to make more sense now that you have, I hope, the JavaScript array in order, or you have better understanding what does it entail and how to apply that. So this is, we will cover that. I want you to go over this PowerPoint presentation to make sure that you understand what is those terms stand for and how they apply in JavaScript. So we will be able to move to the PHP, and that's it. So it was a long a recording. I do apologize, and the second recording will come shortly. We will introduce the idea of the visual or the graphical interface that we will apply into the website. So I cover quite a lot. I hope you get it. I ask question. Otherwise, until next time, have fun.